Yo guys, welcome back, and today we're going to break down the mechanics in Madden NFL 18. Recently, EA has provided us with a blog of what is to come in the newest installment of the Madden franchise. And while it all seems promising, taking another step in the right direction in gameplay, every year we get these cinematic camera angles showing us the newest features, but doesn't really give us a feel for the game. And we're left wondering how it will play in a live game. We have spoken to EA, and they have responded. So let's talk about some of the changes we will see this year in Madden. So first off, we have off-ball injuries. So while playing in simulation, like franchise mode, players not directly involved in the tackle can be injured. This includes offensive and defensive linemen. When an off-ball injury occurs, you won't see the injury animation on the field, only the injury notification under the scoreboard, and in some cases you may see the injury notification after the play before the sideline can report on the severity of the injury. The player may have already returned to the game. And I'm kind of wondering if we'll ever see this in competitive gameplay, and whether or not you guys would be interested in ever having injuries back in things like MUT and just online gameplay. Adding injuries back into gameplay would add a layer of strategy back into Madden using your depth chart. Comment down below on your feelings about injuries in Madden. Next up, we have the ball hawk mechanic. Users on defense can no longer hold Y/triangle for the entire play on the defense and expect to come up with an interception. Ball hawk is now a timing-based skill. If the button is held down or pressed for too long, the defender will receive a heavy penalty to his chance of making the catch and will likely drop the ball. You'll see a user skill notification pop up on the scoreboard to tell you if the mechanic was timed correctly or not. Quarterbacks can also fake out user defenders holding ball hawk with a pump fake. So I always felt like interceptions were widely inconsistent, and this year EA will tweak the outcome of the user's ball hawk strategy. In Madden 17, a user had a strong influence on any given play, allowing goofy animations such as fumbles after hardly being touched, or interceptions that go through the wide receiver's hands and into the defenders. So it seems like EA is rewarding skilled users for correctly timing an interception, and unskilled users are going to have to get a little bit better at timing their picks. So moving on, user-controlled linebackers. Users controlling a linebacker were able to take away most of the routes over the middle of the field in the past. Some alterations to defender run curves and turn rates to ensure that only elite defenders are capable of making these types of plays, while low-rated defenders will not be able to take away the middle of the field as effectively. This will probably be my favorite tweak in Madden 18. Speedy linebackers controlled by excellent user defenders can switch between routes so easily, resulting in an unrealistic athletic play for an incomplete pass or even an interception. These types of plays are frustrating while playing against elite user defenders because linebackers are out there moving like safeties and cornerbacks when they're not. So I think nerfing this position is appropriate, and only a few linebackers should have the privilege of pulling off this gypsy magic. Moving on to AI defender SWAT versus the interception. A top competitive community request was to remove the outcomes where defenders would swat down what would have been an easy interception. In competitive only, defenders will now always go for the interception on an open read on the ball. And my first initial thought will be, there's going to be a lot more interceptions this year, as there should be, because a user will often make a lot more mistakes, especially a Madden player that is not very good. One of the questions I have is what will be considered an open read? Kind of like that in between of when the ball gets there and how close to the defender do you have to be. I feel like they will be making improvements on this all year long, little tweaks and things like that to get this right. I think it'll be a little bit rocky at first. With that being said, the next topic is dropped interceptions. One of the top competitive complaints was around defenders dropping wide open interceptions. With the competitive game style, if your defender has a good catch rating and is open, there will be a significantly higher chance interception will be caught. Keep in mind, you will still see dropped interceptions in this scenario if the defender's catch rating does not meet the threshold. Catches in traffic can also still result in dropped picks. Biggest question for me will be, what is the rating requirement for an interception, and how much will the threshold vary around that rating? And I believe that rating will vary around 75 to 80. That's just my guess, but I think that would be appropriate for any safety or cornerback to consistently catch a wide open interception, but that will be remained to be seen when the season begins. Moving on to the hit stick skill mechanic. The hit stick has been moved back to be exclusively on the right stick. Defenders will no longer be able to use the aggressive tackle mechanic on X or square to land hit sticks. It's now based on timing and facing angle. With more risk and reward, it also brings back the ability for low or high hit sticks by flicking the stick down or up respectively. Landing a hit stick will be accompanied by a controller rumble and unique tackle audio. Hitting square or X was never as satisfying than blasting your opponent with the flick of the right analog, putting the joy back in joystick. And next up we have the ball carrier special moves. Every one of the ball carrier special moves, such as the juke, spin, and hurdle, has been updated in Madden 18. The moves are faster and more efficient. The moves are also less punitive in terms of fumble chances, and most importantly, user control players on defense can now be faked out as effectively as AI controlled players, especially when attempting to hit stick. I feel like the ball carrier moves always felt a little sluggish in Madden 17. Speeding up any move may increase the enjoyment of splitting defenders once again. Juking your opponent always came with a decent risk of fumbling or losing yards and getting tackled anyway. Most of the time, I would just swerve with a speedy, elusive running back until my opponent missed. We will see if EA can balance this hit stick versus ball carrier movements, but it should be a little bit more fun to actually juke now and maybe a little bit more responsive than last year's game. Next, we have the swerve. Last year, the exploit was uncovered that allowed receivers to swerve defenders out of position to play the ball. The team has fixed several assignment issues and positioning issues to ensure that the tactic is no longer effective. Defenders will play the ball more effectively instead of locking in with the receiver. User control has always been dictated by what happens on any given play in Madden in recent years, and I think the most would agree with me that a player's user presence has been enough to cause disruption, such as easy drop passes or fumbles, things like that. No one move in particular has done this quite like the swerve or even the rocket catch, which some of you may remember from recent years in Madden, which operated with a similar tendency. Running backs and wide receivers had the most control, resulting in a frustrating experience for anybody on defense. And I love the fact that the defender will now play the ball and not just the wide receiver, and he won't seem so lost in space. There should be a balance between playing the ball and the wide out, and that will result in a more well-rounded and fun experience for everybody. And next on the docket we have RAC drops, which is run after the catch. It was one of the biggest technical issues Madden 17 had to deal with. They have extensively tested this gameplay to ensure that the problem is resolved in Madden 18. They go on to say they also did a lot of tuning in the organic knockout system to ensure fewer cases of dropping the catch due to a collision once the ball has been secured. This has to be probably one of the most frustrating things of Madden 17. Somebody like Antonio Brown would catch the ball over the middle, in between 1 to 2 defenders, take a couple steps, and drop the ball just because of their presence. I really hope that this gets fixed in Madden 18 to result in a more accurate competitive gameplay. Moving on to size and weight factor. The formula used to determine the outcomes of hit sticks and impact blocks will now use weight and momentum of the players involved in the interaction. You will see far less instances of smaller players successfully landing a hit stick on bigger ball carriers or wide receivers impact blocking bigger linebackers, especially when not moving with enough speed to make a big hit. I think that's probably one of the best things they could have done, because now the bigger running backs, i.e. LeGarrette Blount, Eddie Lacy, even Marshawn Lynch, those guys will have a lot more impact when they truck defenders. Slower running backs didn't get too much love in the previous couple of Maddens. They had their moments, but they weren't the go-to guys unless you had like a Bo Jackson, 99 overall with all the speed and the trucking ability. So this is a very welcomed addition to Madden 18 this year. So touching on the final topic here of low-rated quarterback accuracy, just wanted to say thank you if you're still watching this video. You deserve a cookie or something. I know I'm excited for Madden. It's always exciting every year, waiting for the release of Madden. It always seems to fizzle out, but it's fun to get hyped up over it. Football's almost back. Training camp started. I can't wait. So, complaints about the lower rated quarterbacks being too accurate have been addressed with the new inaccuracy system. I think it's fitting how they have addressed this with Tom Brady on the cover, because in years past, somebody like Colt McCoy could have had a similar performance and performed consistently as somebody like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, Mike Vick, Peyton Manning, you name it. I don't know about you, but I think I would much rather have a 99 overall Mike Vick on my squad over a 99 overall Tom Brady, just because of how dangerous Mike Vick is on the run. So hopefully this year with the new passing mechanics, somebody like Tom Brady will be as dangerous in the game as he is in real life. So I think that'll wrap it up for me, guys. Thanks for stopping by and listening to me ramble on about Madden 18. I think all these new mechanics will be a stride in the right direction, and we can only hope that Madden continues to get better and better year after year. So, with that, until next time, see you guys later.
Yo, Young Ja.